Anti-vaccine activist Robert F. Kennedy Jr.'s presidential campaign announced Thursday that the candidate has hauled in $3 million in a 3-day stretch alone before the second quartering filing deadline. Kennedy's campaign said it had brought in an average of $1 million per day from June 28th to the 30th. The 3-day total represents an impressive figure for a Democratic candidate seen as a long shot against President Biden. The campaign said Kennedy had brought in more than $6 million in the second quarter, with roughly $3 million cash on hand. We are hearing again and again that Mr. Kennedy is catching on because the public is fed up with the media smears. People are answering the attacks by opening up their wallets. RFK Jr. has shown respect for the intelligence of the American people. The more people hear his message, the more he connects, campaign manager Dennis Kucinich said in a statement on the campaign's fundraising. Biden is seen as the Democrats' de facto nominee, but Kennedy has at times registered in double digits among Biden voters, showing some surprising strength among voters. So, as someone who has a vested interest in seeing Marianne Williamson get the Democratic nomination, I will fully admit I'm glad that RFK Jr. was able to amass such a large amount of money, and there's a couple of reasons for that. One, fundraising, unfortunately, thanks to Citizens United and our ridiculous obsession with money in politics, the amount of money that a candidate raises, generally speaking, plays a role in their actual credibility. To hell with what pundits are saying about the long shot RFK Jr., but when someone raises 100,000, a million plus, that allows them to get their message out, to run ads, to do various things that a person who's not making that much or anything at all would otherwise not be able to do. And 3 million for someone that a lot of people don't know outside of his name, and in such a short span of time, does demonstrate that there is a desire among the Democratic base, whether it's progressives or some moderate voters too, that want someone besides Biden, that really are not excited at the prospect of nominating this guy. And he is answering that call to some extent or another. Now, as far as the idea of this, tipping the scales, really the biggest problem for me still comes from the fact that the DNC is reluctant or refusing to hold debates. Because, and this is what drives me crazy, I'm paying attention to the Republican race as well. And at least in a polling level, with regard to polling rather, RFK Jr. and Williamson both do much better than pretty much everyone running against Trump, for example, on the Republican side, besides DeSantis. And actually, I take that back. There have been polls where RFK Jr. does better against Biden than DeSantis does. Whatever. My point. So, besides that, and the fact that now you have this extreme haul of fundraising, $3 million in 3 days, the idea that you would have someone who's doing that well with the voters to where they want to go and donate to him and show their support, and then say, hey, we know this person is getting some traction, but we don't really think they're worthy of debating our incumbent preordained nominee. I hope voters resent this. I hope that either RFK Jr. or Williamson, either one, although I prefer Williamson, but nonetheless, I hope one of them wins New Hampshire and Iowa and all these other states. He can have South Carolina, referring to Biden, but I hope that this whole preordained nominee thing gets shot down more and more as we get closer to actually voting. I hope these two get more donations. I hope they appear on TV and are talked about more on all these different networks, because any press is good press when you're running for office. And I just really think it's sad that that the aptly named Democratic Party can't do democracy a favor and let their preferred candidate or the incumbent president have the simple decency of debating the only other two people running against him in the race, who are actually polling very well and getting large fundraising hauls in some instances. It's really sad.